So what would you say to someone who, perhaps has an invisible disability, they're going through chronic pain or whatever, and what would you say to them if they're thinking about, coming out and disclosing it?
It's tough to say for every scenario, but I guess my own personal heuristic, I think, from now on would just be to be incredibly open about it, and more than open, bullish. I think most people, apart from a couple of comedy execs, are good people in this industry. Essentially, most of them are good people who sort of want to help you. So I would say be bullish about it. I know a lot of people find this hard, so I really can't stress enough how much I don't speak for everyone here. But be bullish about it. Mention it in your cover letter, even. Just sort of and tell people what you need. I mean, in the ideal world, all production managers are saying, "Is there anything you need?" and stuff like that. But they might not. But I'd be bullish about it, because I think my own experience is that most people will sort of be okay about it, and they'll just go, "Okay, what do you need?"
Yeah. I mean, my obviously experience of disability is somewhat different in terms of, it's a moment, it's like an injury, and then suddenly I'm, sitting down more. But when I came out, sort of visibly became disabled, I spent a lot of time sort of not really embracing it to some extent, and sort of not having those conversations with people and explaining what I need. And then it's sort of, those feelings sort of bubble up of things, and it's just letting that valve go and just being open what you need, and people will be accommodating, and if they're not, make them accommodate.
Yeah, I think what I've done in the past is sort of, when I've got a new job, someone's, can I get a slightly nicer office chair, or can I get a thing that fits my back a bit more and supports it? And they try a few chairs, and then I sort of, I'm all Billy Big. What's now, but there've been times where I've been like, oh, do you know what? Don't worry, don't worry. And I sort of want to go back to that. Going, come on, tell them you are not sitting down until you get. I mean, do sit down, Stu, on the floor, but until you get the chair you want and the stuff you need, and
it's not easy. I am a woman of a certain age, and it still happens. I still turn up in places and go, "Oh God, I forgot my access because nobody asked me, so I forgot what my access requirements are because mine are fluctuating conditions and." All of them are invisible. So you sort of go, oh God, I forgot to ask for this, or I didn't take account that. Revolving doors are a big thing for me. And whenever I turn up a building and they've got revolving doors, I just sit outside. I just sit outside because I know, because you ring the buzzer for the automatic door and it goes nowhere. I just sit outside or stand outside the door until the security guard comes and asks me what I want, and he usually opens the door at that point. It's like, oh, thank you, and I just walk in. So you're always hiding it, and you get used to your impairment as you grow old, as your body changes shape, and all of those things happen. And I think the more we get to talk, the more we are able to talk about that, which is sort of what the on-screen space is about, right? In our data, the writers and directors are underrepresented as well, which is the stories of disability are underrepresented. Not everybody wears a bib and sits in a wheelchair all day, and that's sort of the representation of disability that's consistent in television, and the telling of stories and the writing of those, the complexity of the stories. Where are the disabled villains? As in disabled people who are not nice, not Bond villains, right? Not a Bond villain who decided that, I'm going to kill the world because I've got one eye.
Yeah. Give them no redemptive features.
You know what I'm saying?
This guy is just a bad guy. Just in a wheelchair.
Exactly.
He's awful. You, George, although you could play
exactly.
and write it.
Do you know what I mean?
But yeah,
stuff like that, because then you're getting fully rounded individuals. You're beginning to understand, and people can relate to that. Because trust me, everybody knows a disabled person that you want to sleep around with. Everybody knows somebody like that, and you never get to write those stories, and you never get to see that represented. And it's whether it's in drama or in Love Island or sorry, I don't know why I said that. But I don't. God, no, I don't watch that program. No, I don't watch that program.
If there's one thing you guys take away from this, it's that Deborah doesn't watch.
That's the takeaway. I do not watch Love Island. I watch Below Deck. But anyway, but do you know what I mean? And just all of that stuff. But also, Stu mentioned it earlier, comedy. You know, the space for disability and comedy, I mean, for crying out loud, if you don't know how much money you can make off disabled people in a comedy space, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Seriously.
Yeah. Don't make it mawkish, man. Don't make me, I don't need to know about it.
No, you need to cane it in. You need to cane, you can cane in money with disabled people in comedy because it's funny. And it's witty and it's stupid and it's all the things that television should be, and it does all that without apology. But if you are as a commissioner, or if you are as a production company, or if you are as a broadcaster not seeing that because you're scared that you will offend someone, or you don't know what this means, or I don't have a full understanding of cerebral palsy, so I can't work with anybody. I can't be near anybody with cerebral palsy. I don't either. But one of my best friends is, and he's in America and he's making Shakespeare. So it's like, yeah, whatever, mate, whatever. You fall down, all right, I'll pick you up. That's how it goes. And those sorts of things, but it just doesn't get seen. Sorry. Sorry. I'll step down off my little step now. But yes. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, you go.
Sorry. No. One thing I would say, because again we're talking about disabled people taking the initiative and coming out and being bullish. Everyone who works in the industry should scrutinise their practices to make sure that they're not inadvertently excluding disabled people. I don't think anyone in the industry is deliberately closing the door on disabled people. But again, from my own experience and from talking to other disabled people, a lot of disabled people have kind of atypical career paths for various reasons because of their access needs. I changed genre a few times because that was how I made my way through the industry. Sometimes, for instance, recruitment practices are very, very narrow, and they want people who've only got 3 years experience doing that and 2 years experience doing that. And if you've had a slightly different career path, you're not able to apply for those jobs, or you're constantly competing with non-disabled people who've got more experience than you or are perceived as. So it's looking at how you're recruiting, it's looking at the way you're looking for staff, and just being as open as possible, some in less obvious ways. Of course, put a ramp in your office, but beyond that, look at your practices and think about who you're excluding and who you want to attract.
Absolutely. I think part of the point is just we're not doing this for no reason. The point is that we want to create the best art. We want to be the most creative people. We want to tell the best stories, and what we've seen in the past, particularly for things surrounding disability, is whether they get, obviously get told at all, but it's also when it is being told, it's the nature of those stories, and those stories are clearly told from the perspective of non-disabled people, and to some extent that's fair enough. But I think more and more it's becoming more and more apparent that that's boring, and I'd rather hear a more diverse range of voices telling these stories. That's my thought.
Can I add a quick thing on recruitment?
Yes, you can.
We've had a couple of commissions this year, right, that have been quite last minute. You've got to start hiring the next day. Margins are small, so I know what it's like to run a production company, and and finding diverse talent, to be inclusive, sometimes takes a bit of extra effort, a bit of money, extra time and stuff like that. So get looking the rest of your time. Yeah. Get yourself a roster of brilliant disabled talent. Find out who there is. Don't go, oh, we've got a crew up because the cameras have got to be rolling in 6 hours, and I only know these three lovely blokes called Simon from Hertfordshire. Get up, put the time in, get a list in. So when you are ready to press go, then you know who to call, and take the responsibility, man. Just go and hire disabled people.
Yeah.
Do it.